Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode. This is TVOS episode 7, and we are back here with my good friend Landon Ingram. Landon, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good, good, good.
Yep, so last episode we dove in on the college football world. We looked over the new AP Top 25 poll, and we predicted some of the NFL scores for, week week 5, I'm pretty sure. I think it's, yeah, week 5. So we are going to hop into our predictions, and we're just going to go over, the games from week 5 in the NFL season. And then we're going to compare our predictions with that. And then we're going to hop in to yesterday, Monday night's game. So starting off, the first game that we predicted is we just jumped straight into the 4 p.m. games, and those games were Titans versus Cardinals. So right here is each of ours predictions for this game, and the final score was 22-21. Landon, what was your biggest takeaway from this game of the Titans' first win of the season?
Man, it was a crazy game. They fought to the end. You know, Cam Ward was able to draw down the field with a minute left and get his team in the field goal range for winning the game.
Yeah, uh, definitely a crazy ending. Literally loss of words. I mean, for the Titans, to score a touchdown like that, Tony Pollard ran for a touchdown, but the way that it was like Tyler Lockett recovery
Yeah,
fumble off of an interception is like one of the craziest ways that I've seen a touchdown scored this season, especially by, a team like the Titans. So, yeah, it was definitely a crazy game. I think me and you both predicted the Cardinals to win. Great job to Cam Ward, staying strong that game. He went 21 for 39, 265 yards, and he did have that interception, but it did actually end up leading to a touchdown for the Titans. And Cardinals, they are now 2-3. With James Conner being out, we saw running back Michael Carter, take 18 carries. He also had 5 receptions. And Kyler Murray, he went 23-31, 220 yards, 4 carries, 25 yards, and a touchdown. Like, I don't know about you, but I just don't feel like Kyler Murray is supplying what the Arizona Cardinals need to, be sufficient on offense. That just might be me. What do you think?
yeah. I mean, I don't think he fits the system at all.
Yeah. Like, they are definitely like a run heavy team. Like how I said, Michael Carter, 18 carries. Um uh Kyler Murray had 4 himself. Bam Knight had 4 carries, and Amari Demercado had 3. So they're a run-heavy team. He did have 31 pass attempts, but Harrison had 4 receptions. Michael Wilson had 2 receptions, but I just don't feel like this offensive system is gonna work for the Cardinals. I mean, the most points that they've scored in a single game was 27 against the Panthers, which that was in the very beginning of the year when the Panthers were undeveloped. And we'll jump into the Panthers game. They did get pretty sure they won. My app here is being pretty slow. Okay, so that was the Titans versus Cardinals game. We're going to jump into the Bucks versus Seahawks. These were our picks, and this, in my opinion, was the game of the week for Sunday night games. Okay, of course, because that Monday night game was really good. Buccaneers
Yeah,
beat the Seahawks 38-35. Landon, what is your biggest takeaway for this game?
yeah. It was a shootout like I predicted. Man.
Yeah,
Both teams throwing the ball. Ricky stepped up. At the end, the Bucks have got to get an interception. Those took all the way to the end zone.
yeah. I mean, this was truly like the this is the number one Sunday night game. Overtime win. The Bucks kicked the field goal. My prediction for Emeka Ibuka to have 6+ receptions and a touchdown definitely hit. I mean, he had probably one of the craziest games for a rookie. And him and Jackson Smith and Najigba like also like ran their entire offense. Like, I said that Kenneth Walker was gonna run all over that Buccaneers um defense, and he did pick up 86 yards. But truly, we know that powerhouse of that offense was Jackson Smith, and also the tight end. AJ Barner for the Seahawks. He had 7 receptions, 53 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He was involved heavily into that
Yeah.
offense. Um, I don't know much about the guy. I mean, he's 23 years old. He did play one season last year where he had 14 points in Week 18 against the Los Angeles Rams. So, as a fantasy owner, like Landon, are you picking up AJ Barner?
I mean, if he's on the offense, I would. But I
Yeah,
mean,
because he was the tight end one for week 6 and or week 5. I'm sorry, and he's actually having some pretty good outlook. So he is definitely being a big factor for that Seahawk offense. And I mean, yeah, like how we said, a really good game overall. The Buccaneers, barely get the win, especially with that game-winning field goal. They went drive for drive at the very end, and yeah, just a great game. And I think your prediction was closer because I mean you had the Bucks winning, and
yeah,
so yeah, props to you. I think right now we'll put like the score of our predictions right here in the top right, just to see who's like closest to all the games, by point differential and winning. And for our next game, I guess you could say it was another shootout. I mean, not necessarily. It became a shootout towards the end of the game. Lions versus Bengals, 37-24. Um, you know, Jake Browning, he made, I mean, this was the game that the Bengals, acknowledged that maybe Jake Browning's not the guy. He threw 3 touchdowns, but it also came with 3 interceptions. And the Cincinnati Bengals did just sign Joe Flacco. And Landon, how early do you think Joe Flacco will start for the Cincinnati Bengal offense? And do you think he'll make a big impact onto this team and bring them back to winning the games?
he's a veteran. He's a more like good veteran, one of the best veteran quarterbacks they got. I feel like he'll start next week over Jake Browning, but he's a good leader. Even when Joe Burrow gets back and lead Joe Burrow, and yeah, I feel like he'll start next week.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they're going to try to get Joe Flacco into the system as soon as possible. They are playing against the Packers at 4 p.m. on next Sunday, so that is a big game for Joe Flacco. Flacco is not necessarily known, but he has been turning the ball over a lot as well. Um, so if they can somehow manage to keep Flacco away from that, then I think this Bengals offense will really strive because we seen it last year with the Browns. When he was dotting up Amari Cooper a bunch. But if he can manage to stop the turnovers because he has 6 interceptions through 4 games. He threw 2 week 1, one in week 2 and 3, and then 2 week 4, which got him benched for Dylan Gabriel. Um, but yeah, I mean, I definitely think if they're gonna split it. It's gonna be 50-50. So if Browning's not playing good, they're throwing in Flacco, and if Flacco's not playing good, they're throwing in Browning. It's gonna be very up in the air. It's a very close quarterback race, and it's really just gonna come down to who's going to lead the offense, like how you said, Landon, and who's not gonna turn the ball over.
Yeah,
All right, and for our next game, week number 5. And here's our prediction at the top for that game for Lions versus Bengals. Our next game in our final 4 p.m. game was the Commanders versus the Chargers, where I'm pretty sure we both had the Commanders winning, right? I don't know.
I think he did.
I think editor Isaiah will make sure have what the actual prediction was, but I think we both thought that the Commanders win, and Landon, who was your number one breakout player for this big Commanders win? I think there's an obvious answer, but I just want to, hear it from the man himself.
The running back. He
Yep.
rushed for like 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. He stepped up big for the Commanders because they started out slow and then they got into the running game. The defense came in with some good stops and turnovers, and that's how they were able to win the game.
Yeah. I mean, Bill, 14 carries, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, what a game. And, Jaden Daniels, He had 11 incompletions. He did throw for a touchdown, 231 yards. And Bill and Debo Samuel, really stepped up. Samuel went 8 receptions, 96 yards, and a touchdown. So, I mean, that offense, like how you said, definitely exploded towards the end of the game. And, yeah, the number one breakout player of that game was Bill. And, and if I'm not mistaken, Omarion Hampton he was injured after an ankle injury, and he has been placed on IR. That's going to hurt the Chargers a lot. Um, do you think that will, not be in season ending, loss for the team, but how do you think the Chargers need to adapt back, after Amari and Hampton, being injured?
They had to, start passing the ball more and have to trust their backups. You
Yeah.
know, they've been trusting Keenan Allen, their veteran receiver, and Quentin Johnson, Landon, but
Mhm.
they got to keep throwing the ball more since their best running backs out. So.
Yeah, and Herbert, who threw the ball 29 times, he ran himself for 4 yards. I think, and another big thing is Herbert needs to, he's been pretty reliable on his feet. He had like a 40-yard carry this game. And yeah, so Mario Hampton, uh, being injured, Hassan Haskins, uh, who had 5 carries that game, and Kamani Vital also is going to be getting a lot of carries. So yeah, that Chargers offense is definitely going to be a lot different, with that run game basically, falling out with the injury of Omarion Hampton. Now, jumping in to our Sunday night football game, I think, in my opinion, this was the most unexpected. I mean, I can't really find the word. I don't know what it's called, but I don't think I had the Bills losing. I don't think you had the Bills losing. The Patriots beat the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo 23-20. Landon, what is your takeaways for this game?
Yeah, it was a very hype game because y'all old receiver Stephon Diggs when he came back
Hmm.
into Buffalo and he was hyped for the whole game. I never thought that Josh Allen or just the whole Bills team would just lose like that. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
and I mean, as a Bills fan, I've seen this happen countless times. In that big, snowy, windy game that we played against the Patriots, we lost. It just feels like we can't ever beat the Patriots when the Bills are projected to win the most. I mean, Josh Allen, 22-31, 2 touchdowns and an interception. He played decent football, but what I was talking about last week was just completely false. Or not last week, but last episode, I was gassing up that Patriots run defense so much, talking about how they held Ashton Genty to under 60 yards. Um, and that they truly are a strong run defense, but James Cook is going to run all over them. Well, I'm mistaken. James Cook had 15 carries for 49 yards, and that is his least amount of rushing yards this entire season. Besides, week one where he only had 44 yards. So I mean that was definitely mistake on me. I thought James Cook was going to run all over them. And speaking of running all over them, I mean Rahamdre Stevenson 2 rushing touchdowns against us. So and like how you said, Stephon Diggs played great. So yeah, I mean that's definitely an unfortunate loss for me as a Bills fan. And I do think this Bills organization will move forward after this game.
Yeah.
And for our final game and our final prediction, Chiefs at Jaguars. Landon, what was happening during this game? I mean, I am lost for words. Like,
Yeah, it was like the Chiefs started out good. I thought it was gonna win a blowout, but then here come the Jaguars.
yeah,
After that pick six is really it shifted the whole game.
yeah. I mean, started off 14-0, and then Washington had a receiving touchdown 14-7, and then Travis Hunter started playing great, and then Trevor Lawrence ran in for a touchdown, and then Mahomes threw a pick six, and then the Jags took the lead 21-14, and it was just the rest of the game. It was very, very close, and we know, you know, that rushing touchdown from Trevor Lawrence is probably, in my opinion, play of the week, where he stumbled twice and he still ran in. So the Jaguars move on to 4-1. The Chiefs are 2-3. And this is the question of the day. Is the Chiefs dynasty over? What do you think?
Definitely, I think it is because Mahomes is getting older, and Kelsey, I don't even know how many seasons he has left in him. They're still a playoff team, but I don't think they made a Super Bowl this year.
Yeah. And I mean, we're looking at the Chiefs' schedule. It's been a hard schedule. They played the Chargers, the Eagles, they beat the Ravens, but they lost to the Jaguars, and they play the Lions next week. And then in week 8 they play the Commanders, followed up by the Bills, and then after the bye, they play against the Broncos, Colts, and then they end the season off by playing the Chargers, Titans, Broncos, and Raiders. And it's just like if the Chiefs can't readjust, Mahomes did throw for 318 yards, but he had that, the pick six. If the Chiefs cannot readjust and, not only just their defense in a way, right? They did have a pick and 3 sacks, but if that entire, offense can't readjust to the changes, and like how you said, Mahomes is getting older, right? He's not old. He's not old yet. He is 30, but I mean, we've seen Tom Brady play till he's 44. In my opinion, Mahomes is not the cancer of the team. I mean, he was quarterback number 4 this week, quarterback 3 last week, and quarterback 6 the first 2 weeks. I think it's the weapons around him. Pacheco, he wasn't playing up to how he should have, and that made Kareem Hunt step up and have 2 touchdowns. But it was just overall, you know, that Chiefs defense couldn't stop Trevor Lawrence. They couldn't stop, Travis Hunter. They couldn't stop Brian Thomas. And just overall, the Chiefs team couldn't keep up with the Jags. And like how I said, that comes down to the question, is this Chiefs dynasty finally over? And I mean, it's going to be a lot weird because, growing up, Chiefs have always been, a good team. Or, well, since I've been watching football. And it's weird seeing them sitting at 2-3.
Yeah.
So with them being 2-3 and the Ravens being 1-4, is it too late or too early? I mean, to call these teams that were in the conference championship a year ago. This year, the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl. Is it too early to call them? They're not contending for the Super Bowl.
Really, I really think it's not too early because they have a whole season to go. They have about 12, 10 more, like a lot of more games.
Yeah,
I mean, I think they made the playoffs, but Super Bowl maybe out of reach.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to be different, like how I said. And I mean, the Jaguars, I wouldn't say they're looking like a powerhouse, but they're a serious team. I mean,
Yeah, they're
their only
5-1.
their only loss was to the Bengals, which was 4 points, and they're going on to play the Seahawks at home. I mean, this is great for the Seahawks or for the Jags. 3 straight home games, um, Chiefs, Seahawks, and the Rams. So Jags definitely are living up to they're outplaying their standards, right? Because who would have thought the Jags are 4-1, beating the Chiefs, and primarily it's you got to give the flowers to Travis Etienne, who's been playing astronomically well. These for week 1, week 2, and week 4, and Trevor Lawrence, he's really stepped up, and I wouldn't say he's a top quarterback, but he's definitely playing, how he somewhat was at Clemson, right? Which we have not
Yeah,
seen yet from him. That first year, I don't know if it was his rookie year or sophomore year, he took the Jaguars to the playoffs, right? He took them to the
yeah, definitely.
playoffs, to the divisional, if I'm not wrong. They went against the Chiefs in the divisional,
They almost beat
and
them.
yeah, and almost beat the Chiefs. And now, we've seen Trevor Lawrence, kind of digress, and now we're seeing him back, and he's playing really well. So that's um, definitely big for that Jaguars organization. And with that loss right there, that's going to change up that, the whole power rankings, which we are going to jump into right now to end off the video. The power rankings have been updated and it has been changed. So we're going to go spot to spot, and we're going to see if you agree with it, or do you see a reason why it's that? So jumping in, number one, the Detroit Lions. Opinions on that, and do you think they should be lower, or they're just fine there at the one?
They're fine. I feel like they've been playing good ball. Like they're fine right there.
Yeah, I like the Lions there, even though I'm a Bills fan. The Lions had, a bad week one, but other than that, they've been putting up. I think they lead the league in points per game. So,
Yeah.
yeah, the Lions definitely deserve that spot. At the two, they have the Philadelphia Eagles. Do you think they deserve to be at the two, the three, or you already said that you want the Lions at the one? So, what is your opinion on the Eagles at two?
Yeah. I feel like they deserve that spot. But that was a rough game they played, Red Denver.
Yeah, and jumping in, Buffalo at the three. I think that's a pretty well spot.
Yeah, I like that spot too.
Four, jumping up three spots since last week, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, like what's your opinions on the Buccaneers? They even have here on the article saying that Baker Mayfield is an MVP favorite. So
Yeah, I really like Baker Mayfield.
yeah, and I'm glad that he's playing this well, and I definitely do think that the Buccaneers deserve that four spot. Jumping into that five, the Seattle Seahawks. I'm not sure about this one. What do you think?
I don't like that one.
Yeah,
I feel like the Niners are a way better team right now
yeah,
in the division.
yeah. Especially being 3-2, there's other teams that are better than them. In my opinion, the Seahawks aren't even better than the Rams. I know that's crazy to say, and the Rams did lose
That's
to the
not true.
49ers after a loss to the 49ers, but the Rams just look unstoppable, and that overtime loss to the San Francisco 49ers, you can't discredit that Rams team. Um, Jumping in at their sixth, they have the Packers. What do you think about that?
Packers.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, yeah, Packers, because
I mean, they're not a bad team, but I don't think they
yeah,
deserve.
I'm gonna jump in a little bit more bunches of number now that we're out of the top five. They have the Rams at the seven, the Colts at the eight, Commanders at the nine, and the Broncos at the 10. What is your opinions on seven through 10?
I like the Colts this year. Daniel Jones is shocking a lot of people right now. I
Yeah,
never thought he was this good. Especially after leaving New York. He's doing better now in this Colts offense.
yeah. I definitely like. I think the Colts should be moved up, in my opinion,
Yeah,
in front of the Seahawks now, just because they're the number one seed in the AFC, right? So I don't.
yeah,
Yeah, that's why I think the Rams being at the seven, like I said, they should be moved up a little bit more. Commanders at the nine, I like that. I guess they had that one against the Chargers with Jaden Daniels coming back, so I definitely do think Commanders have earned that spot. And the Broncos at the 10, they did lose to the Colts and Chargers. Um, but they beat the Philadelphia Eagles, so I think that 10 spot is, well deserved. And now we are jumping in to 11 through 16. 11, they have the Jags. 12, they have the Chiefs. 13, they have the 49ers. 14, the Chargers. 15, the Steelers. And finally, 16, they had the Vikings. Which, like how I said, do you think these teams need to be in any other order, or what is your opinion on these rankings?
yeah. I like that one. 'Cause, the Chiefs. I think they were in the top like what 5 at the start of the year. Now they're like top 12.
Yeah.
They went down.
Yeah, and they do have the Jags right in front of the Chiefs, which is, appropriate. But the 49ers are at 13. Well,
Yeah,
like, I feel like they're 4-1. They don't deserve to be at the 13. I mean, like how you said, they're ranked number one in the NFC West. Um, I don't think that they're worse than the Chiefs in this current state right now. Okay, there you go. Jumping back in, sorry for the cut, guys. They have the Steelers at 15, the Vikings at 16. That's totally fine. And then I'm gonna go like quickly. The Texans at 17, Patriots at 18, Bears at 19, Cowboys at 20, Falcons at 21, Ravens all the way down to 22. That's just it's sad.
Yeah, sad hearing
Um,
that.
yeah, the Cardinals are at the 23. Panthers jump up to 24. Congrats to the Panthers. Saints are up to 25 after their first win of the Giants. The Titans boost up to 26 after their first win. Bengals fall down to 27. Giants fall down to 28. Browns fall down to 29. The Dolphins are at 30. The Las Vegas Raiders are at 31. And the Jets end off at number 32. Do you think there needs to be any changes in the ending of these rankings, or do you think they're fine? Do some teams need to be higher or lower? What is your opinion?
I think they're fine. You know, every team will have their farewell this year. You know, every team will do good. You know, I feel like the Ravens will have a bounce back game whenever Lamar comes back because, I mean, they're doing terrible right now.
Yeah, and like how you said, I think every team's they're gonna be in a slump for a while. Like I think this Tennessee Titans team can go out and get more wins, but in the state that they're at right now, they're not going to. But you give them a few more weeks, like how you said earlier. We're not even halfway done with the season. We're not even close to halfway done with the season. We still have 3-4 weeks, and
We're getting into October.
yeah, I mean they still have time to readjust. Who knows? The Tennessee Titans can go 13-4, right? I mean,
Yeah.
being 1-4 doesn't mean anything. You know that. Not saying they will, but that Jets team can still technically go 12-5. So we're way too early into the season to be making these big calls. But for right now, I think these power rankings are just fine, and we will most likely check back in with these, in 2 to 3 weeks, see how much these changes have made. So, ladies and gentlemen, that will wrap up this episode for today. Once again, I thank you, Landon, for coming on to today's episode. Thank you so much.
No problem, man.
And yeah, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. We, these videos, they do take a little while. So if you have watched this far, I thank you for, tuning in. Comment down below if you think any of these changes on the power rankings deserve to be made, or, any questions, concerns, or hot takes you have yourself in the comments. Just once again, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope everybody has a good rest of their day. And, once again, thank you, Landon, for coming on.
No problem, man.
All
Have a good
right.
night, yo.
Yeah, we will see you guys. All right. Peace.